Good evening and welcome to Roundtable. Today with us at the Roundtable is Desha Bandu Patrick Amarasinghe. He is the president presently of the Young Entrepreneurs Sri Lanka, and also he has held many posts in the past. So he's been the past president of the Federation of Chamber of Commerce and Industry Sri Lanka, and also the founder president of the National Chamber of Exports in Sri Lanka, then president of the Future Manufacturers Association, chairman Ceylon National Chamber of Industries, and a lot of other posts. So first of all, let me say good evening to Desha Bandu Amarasinghe. So it's nice having with you, Mr. Amarasinghe. So do tell us how you started the journey of becoming a very successful entrepreneur. How did it all start?
Well, what really inspired me was that I was working as an accountant. I was at Lake House, and before that I did my accountancy. So I was also always itching to do something of my own. But what really inspired me is in 1971, we had the insurgency at that time, and that was the demands for more jobs for qualified people, and also we were having a problem of foreign exchange at that time. So I set my mind on starting something on my own to create employment and also to help the country by earning foreign exchange. That time we were a closed market economy. So it was not easy for me to select what type of enterprise I should go into. Fortunately for me, carpentry was my hobby from childhood, so I thought I should do something in that area, which I was very interested, although I was not a qualified person in carpentry in the sense like degrees. But because of my personal interest in the subject, I began to look more and more into that area, and I started the first industry just in the backyard of my house, which I would be surprised with 65 rupees only, the initial
tools. This was in 1970s?
72, I think.
Right,
yes.
Okay.
Then there I thought we had a lot of restrictions in imports, so I felt there was an opportunity for producing educational toys, wooden educational toys. So I started off with that, and I did a lot of research on the type of toys that are good for children, and then I started that industry using throwaway timber from the firewood depots.
That's an interesting concept. When you say wooden educational toys, what exactly was it?
There were a range of toys starting from different age groups, like from the time I was trying to touch something, where the wood has a very warm feeling for children also. So first that very young children, then thereafter for them to learn the basics of A, B, C or whatever it is. So we had different types of toys, building blocks, construction kits, various types of vehicles, so that they can collect them as a hobby as well. And when I started it, marketing was a big problem. And I went to a few toy shops and asked them. They said, leave this on consignment and we'll pay you after we sell. So, but I took that risk, and I used to leave it there. Then I used to go weekly and see. Then they say, we have sold only, if I gave a dozen, we sold 3 and give me money for 3. So it was a hard battle. But in my inner mind, my main goal was to get into exports.
Even if it was a closed economy at the time?
Yes, because that time the government of the day announced a program that they would, what is called 5-year plan of that government included encouragement for exports. So, but from the beginning my idea was to export, earn foreign exchange using local raw material.
So Mr. Amarasinghe, can I ask you, right now you said you started with 65 rupees and you were an accountant, and also you have been an accountant for how long by then?
Well, for more than 10 years.
For more than 10 years. So it's a leap when you sort of just go into the deep end and starting your own thing. So I just want to focus on this entrepreneurial mindset and as to what sort of fears you might expect, what sort of risk you might have to face, but nevertheless, why would a person progress and proceed actually? How can, if you from your experience can elaborate that?
Yeah, really I set myself a goal. I knew it was sometimes people laughed at me saying that it's like an impossible dream, but it was my sheer guts, my wit, my perseverance that really gave me the courage to do this. And for that, for exports, I had to, that time we were given only 50 rupees to travel abroad, but I got the assistance of some friends and people abroad who paid for my ticket, and I joined a very interesting program called the Experiment in International Living. And through that program, I was able to go and live in a house in the US. I was in Indiana, where I don't have to pay, going into hotels or anything like that. So what I did is I worked with this family. They took me to toy shops everywhere, and it is through that my visit that I first came across the Junior Achievement Program at a fair that they took me like a carnival. And from there on I worked on this. But on my own business, I went to the Los Angeles Chamber of Commerce and put a notice in their news bulletin that I am prepared to manufacture products for the US market, and I would like to meet potential buyers. So that gave me the lead, and various people contacted me. And there I worked my ways through in the US to survive there. From after my home stay, then I moved into Los Angeles, and I did all that menial jobs that you can think of to earn the necessary dollars there. So I was there for about 6 months doing a market survey of the type of products I can export. And through some of the buyers who eventually bought from me, I was able to start off by manufacturing. They gave me orders. They came to Sri Lanka to see what I had. I had only a backyard workshop. But still, the first person who came was a Japanese gentleman who was in business in the US, importing from all over Japan, Korea, Taiwan. So they wanted to get new suppliers. So he came to Sri Lanka, visited my backyard workshop, but they called
At that time, how many people did you have?
I had about 4 or 5 people working for me. So then he was very happy with what our level of capability was, because he wanted me to prepare some samples for him. He brought a doll's cot and what they call is a little chair, but they call it a TV chair for kids. So they brought the blueprint for the cot. I said, there's something wrong in your blueprint. He said, no, can't be. I'm buying it from Japan, I'm buying it from Korea, so how come you tell me this is wrong? So I proved it was wrong. And he said, well, these chaps never pointed this to me, so I'm very happy, I'll give you all the backing. So I had a lot of luck there.
Right.
And it happened to be, I found out that his birthday was here in the 3 days he stayed. So I gave him a surprise birthday party with one of the models of this chair. And also, I didn't have an office to take him. So I had to plead with some of my neighbors and get the front part of the house and made it a mock office. And I remember the good old days, how difficult it is to get a telephone call. I asked him, he came to the office and I laid out a nice little office, and I had my sister like a secretary there. And he came to the office and said, can I use your phone to reconfirm my flight? So those days it was a thing that no phone works. So I said, unfortunately the phone is there but it doesn't work. But I borrowed the old phone and kept it on the table. That was all that was there. But we made good friends. He invited me to Japan, took me to about 20 odd factories there, study how this being produced, how they maintain quality, how they do the packing. So I got a very good exposure into how the export manufacturing for these products work.
So this, like when you talk about that, you actually don't think that most of us also have this idea that we also need super infrastructure to start something, and everything has to be in place. Like looking at stories like this, actually you see how, if you want to do, if there's a will, how you can also go ahead. So is this the birth of Woodplex?
Yes.
That is how it all started. And also you were also the founder of the Furnifix, right? So how long did it take you to come up with the successful organizations?
Well, it was a hard battle. First it was behind my house, then later on I leased out a factory which in Boulder, and there we quickly ran out of space because my staff increased from about 4 or 5 to 120 odd people, and also space was running out for me. But still we performed in the facilities we had, and gradually next phase was I bought a property in that area itself, and I put up was finally evaluated to be one of the best export-oriented factories in this country. So with that I got a lot of assistance from the Export Development Board and various government organizations. But I had a big battle with the bureaucracy most of the time, because when I first applied to get my approval for the industry, they turned it down, saying that